Hello and welcome to the Weekly Royal. This is a video version of a podcast that goes up every single day on iTunes, Spotify, etc. But I wanted to do a YouTube component that shows off video of all the events that I talk about every day. So this will go up once a week where we will talk about kind of everything, like a highlight or two, sometimes three from each royal family that has some video that goes with it. This is like a trial run. This is the first one going out. I'm learning new things like video editing, etc. So I don't quite know what this is going to turn into. It may be the only one that ever goes up, or it may become the new weekly thing. So the goal is that it will go up sometime on Monday. I have been kind of playing around with this YouTube channel. It takes a long time for things to upload so far, is what I'm learning. So that's posing a challenge. But yeah, so the way I do this in my daily podcast is we go family by family in alphabetical order. So that's what we're going to do here. We are going to go through 6 of the 7 royal families that I talk about. I couldn't find any video, and I didn't search that hard this week for the Swedish royal family. So that'll be included in like next week's episode of the weekly highlights, I think is what I'm going to call this. So we are going to get started with the Belgian royal family. The first thing that happened in Belgium that has like a really cute video component that I think is amazing is on Thursday, Queen Mathilde of Belgium visited East Flanders, which is a community in Belgium. And so she started her day by visiting a family business called Inex, and it's a like dairy production company. So they produce milk and yogurt and all of that. But what I thought was really, really cute were these children like sang her a song to welcome her. So the first words are like Welkom Koningin, which is welcome queen in Flemish, which is also Dutch. So that was her little song. So here's a cute little clip of that. So wasn't that just the cutest thing? So these are the things that like I love but don't ever get to talk about in the podcast version of this because it's a podcast, so there isn't video element. So this is what prompted the YouTube creation of the weekly highlights. The next thing is like, if you've listened to the podcast, you know I am a political junkie as well as a royal junkie. It's great. And so Belgium has been going through this process of forming a government, and it hasn't been the smoothest process. It's been about 500 days since their election, and it finally happened. They finally formed a government that was installed on October 1st. So this next clip is the new Belgian Prime Minister, Alexander De Croo, swearing his oath of office, pledging allegiance to the king, etc., etc. So I just, because I've been very invested in this political disaster, I wanted to include this because it's important. So that is the next clip, so enjoy.
Getrouwheid aan de koning, gehoorzaamheid aan de grondwet en aan de wetten van het Belgische volk. Je jure fidélité au roi, obéissance à la Constitution et aux lois du peuple belge. Ik schwöre treu dem Koning, gehoorzaam der Verfassung und den Gesetzen des belgischen Volkes.
So those were my highlights from the Belgian royal family. A pretty cool, variation of things, really cute videos that they had posted on their Facebook site. Just really enjoyed those two things specifically, and that's kind of going to be how this goes. So we're going to do the exact same thing now for 5 other royal families, and we're going to jump into the British royal family now with some really cute things. So the first thing that was the big deal of the week, there were a few, but this was the big deal, was that on Tuesday, the Duchess of Cambridge was named joint president of the UK Scouting Organization. So this was historic, as she is the first woman to be named president, or joint president, as her title is right now, to the Scouting Association, which has only taken women for 35-ish years, or girls. Before that, they used to have a separation, similar to how the United States has Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and they can't commingle. So Kensington Royal, or I guess now it's the Twitter account of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, released this adorable summary video. I've trimmed it down a little bit because it talked a lot about the historic, so she shares the presidency with the Duke of Kent, Queen Elizabeth's patron, so it shared that in a really long format, so I just kind of cut the highlights of her visit to a scouting organization in London on Tuesday, the day it was announced that she would become a joint president. So enjoy. It's a very short clip, but it shows her out in the wilderness doing wilderness things, including, I don't think it shows her eating a marshmallow, but by the fire, where she did eat the marshmallow. So enjoy that. And then the other really, really important event was the Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall paid a visit to Northern Ireland, which is, of course, part of the United Kingdom. And the point of their visit was to hear about how the country is doing amidst the COVID pandemic. So they did several different events. They're kind of playing a little bit right now. There isn't a lot of clips from it, but they visited a museum. They spoke with some staff of a botanical garden. Then they went separate ways, and Camilla visited a women's aid organization for domestic violence, where she participated in a meeting and listened to some of the most horrific things you can hear ever. And it was just a really great event that gave us some normalcy in the royal world. So this obviously couldn't happen for many, many months, and to see Charles and Camilla make this trip is really, really important. So that was the other big event that I wanted to highlight, because of course that's a large event, and that happened on Wednesday. And it was just really important to highlight the rest of the United Kingdom in the COVID pandemic. So they've now kind of been everywhere. The royal family of the UK, they've been to every part of the kingdom to check in and just check on different businesses and see how they're doing, which is really, really important. So that's what was going on in the UK. And now we are going to move in to the Danish royal family. Denmark had a really, really strong start to their week. And then they finished with nothing. So on Monday, Crown Prince Frederik visited a school to learn or to visit their science festival that they had focusing on electromagnetism, which was discovered 200 years ago. So Frederik is really putting a spotlight on H.C. Horston and the discovery he made of electromagnetism. So you'll see in this clip that I'm about to play, Frederik playing with a magnet that is ginormous and kind of learning different things about it from students and staff at the school he visited. So it's a really cute thing. It was really rainy, which made it even better. So let's go ahead and roll that clip. Then from there on out, it became all about Crown Princess Mary. She had 3 engagements over the next 2 days and just became like a workhorse. It was great. So the first thing is on Tuesday, in the clip you're about to see, she announced the Danish Industry Prize or the DI Prize at the Danish Industry Summit to a construction company that I left some of their introduction in because they make sustainable construction equipment, which is who knew that things like that existed? I'm from the States. We don't do a lot of sustainability here because we're trash people. So let's learn about some people that are not doing trash. What an innovative thing to make construction materials sustainable. That way the buildings that they go in are then sustainable too. What a concept. It's amazing. So that was her first event. That was her only event on Tuesday. And then she had one of possibly the coolest engagements that I've seen in a while, where she delivered a business prize at it was a Danish Rainbow Award, which is hosted by a organization that promotes businesses that help the LGBTQI plus community. So she gave a speech at this awards and then rocked this amazing outfit when she showed up, and it was just so glam. Both of her outfits this week were amazing. And I personally, I like fashion. I don't dress like I like fashion, but there are certain things that I'm just yes, this looks amazing. And the gray jumpsuit from Tuesday was one, and this ensemble for this awards was spot on. So here's a cute clip of her arriving at the Danish Rainbow Awards. So a great week, all in all, highlighting Crown Princess Mary, all fantastic. So now we're going to move on to the Dutch royal family or the royal family of the Netherlands. Whichever one you prefer, they're the same people. So let's go on to that. While King Willem-Alexander had a lot of events, 0 of them were videoed that I can find. I saw one for about a day and then it was taken offline. Don't know what that's about, but there was nothing. So it was all Queen Maxima in terms of the videos, which is fine with me. Like, I'm good with that. So on Wednesday, she did a really cool thing that, like, throughout the pandemic, she didn't really do a lot of these. And it's like an online working visit. So they held some meetings that were public. Now, they might have done a lot of this behind the scenes and just never really shared it. But publicly, like, this hasn't happened. So she held an online working visit with a couple of regions of the Netherlands as well as some companies, and they were talking about the issue of tackling debt. One thing that I'm really disappointed in was, like, what kind of debt they were talking about, whether it was community debt or personal debt or what all of that meant. But, like, it was really great. So she, this clip shows her, like, just, you know, knowing what she's talking about, and which of course makes sense. If you don't know, Queen Maxima was like a finance person in her life pre-marriage to King Willem-Alexander, and now serves with the UN Secretary General as the special ambassador or advocate for financial inclusion. So she is, like, really on top of her stuff when it comes to money and finances and all of that. So, like, this is a perfect working visit for her to do over Zoom. So you can see, like, in this clip, just her, like, being on Zoom, having a real conversation. It's fantastic. So I decided to include it. So here you go. All in all, just fantastic. Now, I don't speak Dutch, so don't really know what was said. Sorry. I'm working on it. I'm not fluent, but I know Spanish, and so Dutch is my next, like, language that I want to learn, but I haven't learned it yet. I'm getting ready to start, though. So that's going to be fun. So then the next thing is on Thursday, Queen Maxima visited or launched the Breast Cancer Month event with the Dutch Cancer Society. So October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it's really, really important. Maxima was there to launch this event, dressed in a full-on monochromatic pink ensemble, which is fantastic, and just, like, a little bit extra. Like, amazing extra, but just a little bit extra, which I found a little funny. So it was great. And then in this video that I'm about to play, you can see a little bit of her arrival. So notice that she wore her face mask coming in and only took it off once she was sitting down. I don't know that I showed that part. And then she made sure if she wasn't wearing it, she was maintaining appropriate social distancing measures for coronavirus, which is, of course, important in this day that we are living in, these times. So, like, I wanted to highlight that, but then also in these clips, she is talking to groups of people or survivors of breast cancer or whose lives have been impacted by breast cancer in one way or another. So I think it's, like, a really great way of highlighting how she is with people, which is phenomenal. Like, she's fantastic with people, and I love seeing that. So let's jump to that.
Tijdens haar bezoek aan de Borstkankervereniging Nederland. En zodra ze gaat zitten of bij een ander moment waarbij het veilig is, mag het kapje even af. Sinds woensdag geldt voor heel Nederland een dringend advies voor het dragen van een mondkapje in de publieke ruimte. In het World Forum The Hague verricht Maxima de openingshandeling van de borstkankermaand door het boek Alles over borstkanker officieel in ontvangst te nemen. Nou ja, in ontvangst vanwege corona gaat ze ernaast staan. Het boek is onder andere geschreven door borstkankerchirurgen van het Antonie van Leeuwen.
Again, just like a really amazing event. Love the monochromatic pink. It's all fantastic. It was a really great spotlight on a cause that is really, really important. I know we are all kind of living in our own chaos right now. I don't know what else to call it. So to have someone put a spotlight on something so important is kind of the point of royalty now, to really highlight these issues that are so, so important. So that's what she did, and it's fantastic. And now we are going to jump to the Norwegian royal family. I personally have been very excited about this event that I'm going to show you, but also approaching it with some trepidation, I think is the right word. I definitely find this moment very bittersweet. And it is the opening of the Norwegian Parliament, or Stortinget, which is the name that the Norwegians use for their parliament. And it is the fact that Crown Prince Haakon, who is acting as regent, so just a brief definition, a regent is a member of the royal family acting in the capacity of a monarch, while the current monarch, so in this case King Harald, is ill or incapable of doing his job due to travel or something along those lines. In this situation, unfortunately, King Harald is sick. He was in the hospital last weekend and has been on sick leave. That was supposed to end today on Sunday. It has been extended, and I don't think they put a date that he is at this point planning to return. So, for the opening of the parliament, typically the monarch reads a speech written by the government to outline the year's priorities. And of course, this year, while King Harald is on sick leave, that task fell to Crown Prince Haakon. So Crown Prince Haakon, serving as regent, and his mother, Queen Sonja, and that is the correct order of precedence. I feel very strange saying it that way, but that is the right way to say it, opened Parliament. So Queen Sonja always goes, Crown Prince Haakon always goes. The only person missing is King Harald. So I show a couple of different things in this clip that I've edited out a lot of. The first thing is like them arriving to the building and then entering the hall. And then I included a clip, and this is something that like blew my mind. I added the clip of Crown Prince Haakon sitting on the throne in the Parliament room. This is not, like, I preface this is not something I want to see for a very long time ever again, but it was kind of, if I can separate out enough of, like, other emotions, it was kind of cool to get a sneak peek into the future without there being a grief period. There's a concern period, but it's not grief. You know, you're not mourning the loss of a monarch at the moment. So it was very cool. And then I think I added in a clip of them leaving, because there's like a really cute mother-son moment that I really enjoyed, where like they're finally in the car and everyone's smiling and you're just like, oh, it's over. This historic momentous event is done. Haakon did a great job. And like it just looks like, from a person that knows nothing about like these people's personalities really, other than what they share, like she's just really proud of him. So I just included that in there as well. So go ahead and enjoy that. And
Det altså stortingsrepresentanter fra Møre og Romsdal som I dag følger kronprinsregenten når han inne på Stortinget. Og mens han her, skal det ikke foregå noe politiske. Det var en kortere trontale enn den vi vant med. Nå kan representantene sette seg, og så skal vi få beretninger om rikprinsen. Magnus, han fikk også smetta inn gjennom talen fra regjeringen, smittevernsråd. Det var en trontale som var preget av det som har preget absolutt alt det siste halve året.
Det riktig, både den ytre rammen som vi har vært inne på selvfølgelig, og også innholdet I de ulike talene hadde jo hele den situasjonen vi oppe I som bakteppe, og som gjør veldig mye usikkert også på den politiske arenaen. Vi hørte blant annet stortingspresidenten spørre seg selv hvordan vil valgkampen
It was a cute moment. So now we're jumping into Spain. And so this is the speech that Queen Letizia gave at a event where she attended focused on women and microfinance. It was hosted by the BBVA Microfinance Foundation about women and like the challenges and achievements they've had trying to reinvent themselves during the crisis. So I haven't subtitled this. In the future, that's something I do want to do, at least with the Spanish stuff, because I know enough Spanish that I can like tell you what's going on. So I'm hoping that there are maybe some automatic YouTube captions that can show up, and then auto-translate is my hope, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But here's Queen Letizia talking really, really fast about how important microfinance and microloans are to women, especially in times of crisis.
Por último, Su Majestad la Reina nos dirigirá unas palabras. Pues lo voy a hacer en 2 minutos, más o menos. Vicepresidenta, Secretaria General Iberoamericana, y la razón por la que estamos todos aquí. No olvidemos, por tanto, esta razón y sigamos tan incansables como ellas, trabajando cada uno en el lugar que ocupa para no perder el rumbo. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Majestad, por esas palabras inspiradoras. En nombre de la Fundación...
And this is like just the dorkiest thing that I've decided to share, and it is King Felipe greeting the President of Portugal, President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, whose name is so fun to say, but also, like, if you have a cold or any kind of sickness, is very impossible. I cannot say his name without losing my breath. So these two met to attend the La Toja Forum on Democratic Values. But before that, they had a bilateral meeting, which is where the leaders of two countries come together to talk about the relationship between the two countries. Now, I didn't include much of the meeting other than, like, here's a short clip of them speaking. But what I did include is their dorky greeting. So the president of Portugal is, like, very extroverted and very kind of touchy-feely. So coronavirus for him has got to be, like, a nightmare, as you can see. Because they do this dorky, like, they're gonna go in for a handshake, but then don't. And so Felipe puts, like, his hands on the president's arms, and then they just shake. And it's hilarious. So I included that because it made me laugh a lot. So that's what I found interesting in Spain this week. So enjoy that, and then we'll go to the outro. So that is the first weekly highlight episode for the Daily Royal podcast. Like I said, this does go out every day on Apple, Google Podcasts. I just almost said iTunes. Also goes there, but that's Apple. Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can listen to podcasts, it's there. And it's called the Daily Royal. And so it does kind of all of this with without the video clips, because I can't do that every day. And it goes out Tuesday through Saturday. And then, like I said, these should go up on Monday. We'll see. I record pretty late at night, so I'm hoping that this can go out by like noon tomorrow on Monday. And we'll see. I'm learning YouTube and learning video editing all at the same time, so this could just be a disaster. But make sure, please check out the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. And yeah, so I will hopefully talk to you all next Monday. Have a great week if you don't subscribe to the podcast, and I will be back with more clips and hopefully a more full idea of what's going on. So I'll talk to you next week. Bye.